It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey folks, today I'm taking a look at 7 Ronin. 7 Ronin here is a 2-player only game with very different sides, very asymmetrical game in which the players are going to be either attacking a village and trying to control that village, or as the 7 Ronin defending that village from a ninja attack, okay? Let me give you a quick overview of how the game works. I'm not going to go into every detail, but this should give you enough of an idea to see how the game operates, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I thought of it. In the game, one player is going to be the ninja player, and one player will be the Ronin player. The ninja player is trying to attack the village, and they win if they control 5 areas at the end of a round, or they kill all the Ronin, and the Ronin player wins if they exhaust all of the ninja tokens from the board and the supply of the player, or if they just run out the time, and after 8 turns, 8 days, the ninja player still has not won, then the Ronin player would win. Each round has 3 parts. There's the planning phase, the combat phase, and then the end phase. During the planning phase, the players are going to, behind their player screen, which I'm not showing you much of here, but has a lot of information for the players, they are going to decide where they are sending their characters, okay? And there's a lot of rules that govern how these things can be sent and how many to each location, things like that. But for right now, I'm not going to go into all of those details. Once that's done, players reveal their tokens, reveal their, remove their screens, and then we'll send out these tokens out to the board, like so, to the matching areas. And the Ronin player would have done the same thing. All of these would have been sent out, okay? Then we go to the combat phase. During the combat phase, the first thing that happens is the Ronin player is going to utilize all of the special abilities for the Ronin characters, okay? And some of them will not trigger unless they are in a zone that's uncontested, and some will not trigger unless they're in a zone that is contested, if there's a fight there, okay? Once that's all dealt with, then any Ronin still in an area with ninjas are going to take damage. And so, for example, this character here, in this zone with 2 ninja tokens, would take both of those tokens as wounds on the card. If this character ever gets as many wound tokens as it has life, it's gone. The player loses that token for the rest of the game. Once the wounds have been distributed, then the ninja player is going to get to use the powers on the village board where they are alone. So where a Ronin was not sent. And those symbols there correspond to what the powers are. And they can do a variety of things, just like the Ronin player can, okay? Once that's been done, then the third phase, the end phase, we clear the village board of all the Ronin characters. We leave the ninja characters, push them a little bit forward here so the entry spaces are open. We move the time track along and we resolve some things that might happen starting later on where ninjas die, things like that. And then we do it again. Put the screen up, program where we're going to send our characters, reveal them, and go through another round. Again, this continues until one player wins or the time runs out and the Ronin player wins. Here we have a list of all of the Ronin powers, and they do a variety of things like move other characters around, they can heal, they can move themselves to an area where there are ninja tokens, they can do all sorts of things like that. And then after that, the zones that the ninja player gets to activate are right here, and they also do a variety of things like cancel the power of a Ronin for the next round. They can move ninjas around, get more ninja tokens for later. They can lock a Ronin in a specific area. They can attack and deal extra damage to the Ronin, all sorts of things like that. But that's basically everything you need to know to get an idea of how the game operates. Once one of the two players has outsmarted the other side, game's over and they win. This is a game that took a little bit of warming up for me to start understanding everything and getting into the groove of everything, because the rules are a little bit dense maybe. There's a lot of little steps in the game. But once I did figure it out, then I thought the game was alright. It's not something I think is fantastic or anything like that. But if you are someone who enjoys the asymmetrical play a lot, if you are someone who likes those games where you program what you're going to do and then reveal and have that aha moment, then I think you are going to dig it. I myself know that I would like it a little bit better if I didn't have a couple of issues with mostly the production. So let me talk about that, okay? The tokens that represent the ninjas are ridiculously small, and while I appreciate the fact that they were trying to make these thematic by making them little ninja stars, they're so tiny that they're problematic, and I think a little disc, even a little cube, would have been a better choice. These things they look like something you would, like punch out and then throw away. They're wooden, so they're not cardboard, but they are so easy to lose. They're so very tiny. The other thing I had a problem with was these player boards. Let me grab these and bring them over. Now this is the main board here, which is very nice. I like the icons in the center. The areas look good. This is a nicely done board. I enjoy I like the look of it. I think it's very well done. What I do not like so much is the ones that the players themselves get behind their screen, because they do not match that main one. And so, for instance, for me to know as the ninja player what the areas do if I control them, I have to go from here to look at an area, to then look at the board that's in the center of the table, figure out what the icon is on that board, and then look at my screen to figure out what that does. And I'm not sure why these boards that the players get couldn't just have had the icons on them. I understand that the ninjas are drawing this in the sand and it's being thematic and all of that stuff. It's also not very user-friendly. And user-friendliness comes first. Everything else has to be secondary. So that idea of let's make these look cool but not make them functional, unfortunately, I think hurts the game a little bit. And so between that and the tiny little ninja tokens, the game falls a little bit for me, Again, I'm not saying that there's an inherent problem here. I just wish that it was a little more user-friendly as a product. That's all. So, overall, for me, I thought 7 Ronin was an interesting little game, but not one that wowed me necessarily, not one that I think personally I'm going to keep coming back to it time and again. But if you are someone that is enamored with the theme, if you are someone that really enjoys, as I said, the asymmetrical nature of it, then I think as long as you're cool with games that are fairly light, I think you might enjoy this one. The theme is there, and the artwork on the board and on the characters, the Ronin, is very attractive. So, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on 7 Ronin.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.